Hey everybody, it's good to see you back here again. So once more, picking up where we left off, we found the setup for 1113 in the last episode. We got the pinion meshing with the bevel gear just the way I wanted it. So in this episode, we're going to make it all permanent. Seals are going to go in. There's going to be some epic full overlock action. There's going to be some further reassembly. Who could say no to that, right? So first thing we need to do though is get this input shaft pulled back out of our way. We'll find a place for it once again on the bench. Now we need to take the pinion shaft back out so that we can put the sliding gear set on. And the reason I didn't do that before is because experience has taught me it's so much easier just to be able to reach in here, do your backlash check, roll that thing over to check contact without that gear set on there. And remember, there's nothing holding them in place because the shift forks and rails aren't present yet, so they're always wanting to slide and hang up with the teeth on the counter shaft gears, and it's just all around easier to leave them off until you've established the setup. So there we go. Now whatever you do, don't misplace any of these shims. This is the gospel right now. So yeah, we worked so hard establishing that setup. Don't drop them, don't lose them. Keep them in a safe place. All right, now for the sliding gears. We should have second reverse right here. And we have, of course it wants to slide, right? 3, 4. And first and fifth. And once again, checking our work against the manual. So we have second and reverse gear. Shift collar to the inside, 3, 4, large diameter gear to the rear, small to the front, yep, and then the first and fifth, shift collar, yes, the right spot. Of course, that's a pretty difficult one to get backwards because we have the internal teeth for the lock up to the input shaft that have to face the front, so we should be good right here. Our shim pack is hiding safely out of the way, and new fold over locks beneath the 3 bearing cage bolts. Now, the part number for those locks is a 1C155. I chose to make these because they're pretty simple. They're just, flat with a through hole, so that's the route I went there. All right, we have the pinion and sliding gear set prepped for final assembly. Let's do the same to the bevel shaft now. All right, here we only take one side apart at a time. We don't touch the other side until this side is back together again. And for this, I don't even bring the shims with the cap. I leave them in place on the studs. All right, so just finished putting the new seals in that bearing cap. So the original cat number was a 4B3675, and it was this, one of those old steel-bodied leather lip seals. You can see the inside is a leather lip with a spring behind it. That's the oil seal portion. And the outside had like a felt dust ring. So yeah, it's kind of a heavy duty seal. And of course, steering clutch compartments get rather dusty. So it was just kind of an added line of defense to protect the lip of that seal. So those cross over to what I chose to use, an SKF 17523. There's all the specs on that in case you want to look for your own, but these are a rather thin seal, so I like to double them up. You place 2 of them back to back, and it is a pretty good replacement for the heavy-duty original. And what I do, old-timer mechanics trick, I'll pack the backside of the outer seal with grease, because the inner seal is basically going to keep the oil in, and this outer one is basically going to help to keep the dust out. So I put a little grease back there to help that survive so it doesn't run completely dry. Okay, fold over lock time. We're going to need 4 of them for that bearing cap. So we got some new ones here. I did buy these. Part number 2B1738. So yeah, that hasn't changed since at least 1938. It was the same number even back then. So pull 4 of them out here. And, you know, I chose to purchase these because, well, you know, I'm fine with making locks that have 4 corners on them, but these have 6 and I am pretty lazy, so. Okay, everybody, locks are pre-positioned and both bearing caps are torqued back down. We're not bending anything yet, all right? That's a little premature, but you can really tell, well, you can feel, I should say, the increased amount of drag from those oil seals now on the shaft. Remember, we have 4 of them on there, so that's also why you never want to set preload with seals installed. So, all right, let's pop the sliding gear set in now. And it goes back in the same way it came out, nose down. And once again, keep hold of the sliding gears because they will fall off if you're not careful. And now the shim pack. And once again, fold over locks are in place. Bolts are tightened up. Also, once again, we're still not folding anything. Not quite yet, guys. Have patience. We need to put the input shaft in first. So a couple of things to address first. You can see I've got the new input seal installed in the retainer already. The cat number was a 4B3421, crosses to an SKF 18658. That's what I chose to use. Once again, specifications are listed here should you want to search for your own. Now, pay special attention to this oil drain back passage, all right? That has to align with this notch in the seal plate. That's very important. So when we go to assemble this into the housing, we'll start with the first gasket and just slide that on the studs around the opening for the input shaft. We will then take the second gasket. It will go on the bearing retainer. Now we take the input sleeve and we will carefully start that into the seal. And we take, if I can do this with one hand, all right, come on, skill time. Take and put the sleeve and the seal retainer both on to the input shaft. So we'll place this on the housing, we'll slide this in the front, and then to finish everything off, the clutch brake halves just cover over it all. And then it all gets tightened down. Simple as that, right? Starting the hardware. All we have to do now is tighten it down. Okay, everything's tight. And another thing I forgot to mention, I like having this input sleeve in the seal before I tighten anything down because it helps to make sure that seal is going to be centered on that sleeve. So just kind of reduces the likelihood of leaks at all. So, all right, we have enough stuff put together that we move to the next phase, checking our work. All right, first we check the gear train. So there's no way I'm going to be able to set the camera so you can see everything I'm moving in here and watch the output at the same time. So you're going to see most of what I'm moving in here, but visual aid, this red handled pry bar, I clamped to the end of the bevel shaft with the stop bolt. Visual aid, I'm doing it for you guys. Plus I found something else I could use the stop bolt for. So yeah, buddy. All right. Now watch for this to move. We're going to try first gear. And now remember, in forward, the bevel shaft actually rotates backwards, okay? Because you have that extra set of gears in the final drive, gets the rotation proper, blah, blah, blah. We'll find out about that when we do final drives. Anyway, watch for this to start moving backwards, all right? So we're in neutral right now, spinning the input, nothing's happening. So we'll take the first gear, slide it back. All right, we've got movement. Back to neutral. Now we'll try second. Engage that. Okay, a little faster movement, yep. We will do third next. A little faster still. Now we do fourth. Faster still. Now, direct lockup, we'll try fifth. Faster still, all right. Back to neutral, that's good. We will now engage reverse. And see that? We're moving back the other way. All right. Transmission should be good. All right, most critical test of all, we need to make sure we didn't change the setup with anything we did here. So we're not going as crazy with the marking compound as last time. I did like 4 teeth. We're just verifying that we didn't make any mistakes while we were, you know, having shims out and caps off and things like that. So let's see what happens. All right, let's evaluate. And looks unchanged to me. I'm happy with it. We didn't make any mistakes. Our assembly is sound. So don't be afraid to make it prove itself, because 5 minutes worth of checking now could save you 2 days worth of labor to tear it back down to get to where we are right now if you had to go back later and make something right again. So we can make it permanent at this point. It all checks out. Or in other words, we fold locks. All right. Don't ask me why this is so much fun. It just is. But all right, we're going to wrap the video right here. Good point to break away. Everything's in place in the bell housing, clutch brake, input sleeve and seal. All that's good. And we have made all of our settings permanent. Have those fold over locks looking really good down in there. And I'll tell you what, we got them asking for mustard, boys. These are all set really, really well. Happy with how it turned out. I decided to utilize the same tri-fold technique that the original locks were on 1113 here. Typically, you would only fold 2 of the 3 wings, but in this case, you know, this is a heavier duty lock. I think, you know, we have a little bit more riding on these, so we folded the first one down against the cap to resist counterclockwise rotation, and the other 2 folded up against each flat of the nuts. So it's all looking good. It's all where it's supposed to be, and like I said, it's permanent. It's locked down. We know we can't lose the setup now. So thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to keep building on top of what we already have. Shift forks and rails, detents, interlock, all that stuff's coming next. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Memberships are available down below. We got some fun behind the scenes stuff coming up for that. Thanks, everybody. Just hope to see you back again.